David's mighty warriors are a group of men in the Bible who were singled out by an appendix of the Books of Samuel. The text divides them into the 3, of which there are 3, and 30, of which there are more than 30. The text explicitly states that there are 37 individuals in all, but it is unclear whether this refers to the 30, which may or may not contain the 3, or the combined total of both groups. The text refers to the 3 and the 30 as though they were both important entities, and not just an arbitrary list of 30 plus significant men. Some textual scholars regard the passages referring to the 3 and the 30 as having come from either a source distinct to the main sources in the Books of Samuel, or being otherwise out of place, since parts of the text have distinct stylistic differences from other portions, appearing as a list, as a series of character introductions, or as a flowing narrative. Some suspect that the passages may themselves be compiled from multiple source documents. Further, as 2 Samuel chapter 23 verses 23 to 24 reads, David put him in command of his bodyguard, Asahel, brother of Joab. Among the 30 were. The text is regarded as corrupted, and the middle of verse 23-24 is generally presumed to have been lost. Complete list. The 3 are named Ishbaal the Tachmonite, Eleazar son of Dodo the Ahohite, and Shammah son of Agi the Hararite. The 3 are also mentioned in the Book of Chronicles, where, in the Masoretic text, the first of these 3 is named as Jashobim instead. However, the Septuagint version of the same passage presents a name that scholars regard as clearly being a transliteration from Isbosheth, the euphemism employed in some parts of the Bible for the name Ishbaal. Hence the first member of the 3 was possibly Ishbaal, Saul's son and heir, the text having become corrupted either deliberately or accidentally. Ishbaal is described as being the leader and is said to have killed 800 men in a single encounter. Ishbaal is also described as a Tarchamonite, which is probably a corruption of Hagmonite, the latter being how he is described by the Book of Chronicles. Eleazar is described as standing his ground against the Philistines at Pardamum when the rest of the Hebrews ran away, and as successfully defeating them. Similarly, Shammah is described as having stood his ground when the Philistines attacked a field of ripe lentils, despite the rest of his associates dispersing, and as having defeated the attackers. The 30 are not heavily described by the text, merely listed. There are several differences between the ancient manuscripts of the list, whether they are of the Masoretic text or of the Septuagint. Textual scholars generally consider the Septuagint to be more reliable than the Masoretic text in regard to this list, particularly since the Masoretic text of Chronicles matches the Septuagint version of the Books of Samuel more closely than the Masoretic version. In addition, there are a few places where it is uncertain whether one person is referred to or if it is 2 people. The individuals that are clearly identified are Elhanan son of Dodo from Bethlehem, Shammah from Arad, Helez from Beth-Paleh, Ira son of Ikesh from Tekoa, Abiezer from Anathoth, a man from Hushah that was named either Mebunai or was named Sibbecai, Zaman, descended from Ahoah, Maharai from Netopha, Heleb son of Bana from Netopha, Idai son of Ribai from Jober, Benaiah from Pirathon, a man from the ravines of Gash that was named Hidai was named Harai, Abi Albert from Beth Arabah, Asmaveth from Bahurim, Elibar from Shalbim, the sons of a man that was either named Hashem and was from Gizon or was named Jashan, Ahiam from Arad, whose father was either named Shara or was named Saka, Eliphelad from Maacah, whose father was either named Ahazbai or Eliam son of Ahithophel from Gilo, Hezro from Carmel, Zelek from Ammon, Ira from Jatir, Gareb from Jatir, Uriah the Hittite. In addition to these, there are a few cases where an individual is named, and is then followed by a description that is unclear as to whether it refers to them, or whether it refers to an additional unnamed person. Naharai from Beeroth, the armor-bearer of Joab. Igal, son of Nathan from Zobah, the son of a man named Hagriah Haggadi. For the remaining names of the list, there are some significant textual issues, the most minor of which being that the Books of Samuel lists Para-the arbitrary, but the Book of Chronicles lists Nara-e son of Exbi instead. The list in Samuel is generally presented in pairs, where each member of a pair comes from a similar location to the other member, but this pattern is broken by Shammah, Elika, and Helez, who make a trio in Chronicles. However, Elika isn't even listed. The final name on the list itself is given by the Masoretic text as Jonathan son of Shammah from Arad, but the Septuagint as Jonathan, Shammah from Arad. The Septuagint implies that the passage was understood to refer to Jonathan significant enough to need no further qualification, thus probably referring to the Jonathan that elsewhere is described as a son of Saul, which Jonathan being a son of Shammah would contradict. According to textual scholars, Jonathan is distinctly associated by other parts of the Books of Samuel with the Hebrews, while Saul is distinctly associated with the Israelites, and his being Saul's son is considered by some textual scholars as more ethnological than necessarily literal. As the list is proceeded with, David put him in command of his bodyguard, Asahel, brother of Joab. Among the 30 were ... and Asahel the brother of Joab is sometimes considered to be part of the list, having become misplaced rather than the start of a lost passage. 3 of the 30. The text also contains a narrative passage about 3 of the 30. It is unclear from the text whether this refers to the 3, hence implying that the 3 were a special group within the 30, or whether it refers to another group of 3 individuals. The narrative, which recounts a single exploit, ends with "Such were the exploits of the 3 mighty men," and textual scholars believe that the narrative may be an extract from a larger group of tales concerning these 3. The flowing narrative differs in style from the more abrupt introductions to individual members of the 3 and the 30 that surround it, and textual scholars believe that it may originally have been from a different document. In the narrative, 3 of the 30 visit David when he is located at the cave of Adullam. While there, David expresses a heartfelt desire for water from a well near Bethlehem, which the narrative states was occupied by Philistines. The 3 of the 30 therefore forcefully break past the Philistines and draw water from the well, which they take back to David. David refuses to drink the water, instead pouring it out before Yahweh, arguing that it was the blood of the men who had risked their lives. Biblical scholars argue that the description of David pouring out the water is a reference to David offering the water to Yahweh as a libation. Abishai, an additional account, continuing on from the description of the 3, which was interrupted by the narrative concerning David's thirst, describes Abishai, the brother of Joab. According to the text, he killed 300 men with a spear, and so became famous among the 30, though not as famous and respected as the 3. The text states that despite the fame and respect he was not included among the 3, suggesting that being a part of the 3 is not just a group of famous people, but something which an individual could in some way gain membership, with criteria that involved more than fame and honor. According to most manuscripts of the Masoretic text, Abishai became the commander of the 3, but according to the Syriac Peshitta, and a few Masoretic text manuscripts, Abishai instead became the commander of the 30. The text explicitly states that Abishai became the commander of the three despite not being among them, but it is unclear whether this is directly because he was the commander, or whether he was commander of the 30 and the three were a subgroup of the 30. Benaiah is singled out by the text for being a particularly great warrior, as famous as the three, and significantly more respected than any of the 30, for which reason he was put in charge of the royal bodyguard. As with Abishai, the text emphasizes that despite these qualities, Benaiah was not a member of the three. The text gives a list of Benaiah's great exploits, suggesting that these are what brought him fame and honor, compared with the feats ascribed by the text to Abishai. And the members of the three, Benaiah's feats are somewhat minor, killing two of Moab's best warriors, killing a lion in a pit on a snowy day, attacking a 7.5-foot tall Egyptian with a club, stealing the spear that the Egyptian was using, and killing the Egyptian with it.